let's talk a little bit about like the nuts and bolts of the alcohol business, end of it. Like, let's start like with you two, Alex and David, because you guys have the most traditional style business, I would say. Like, what does it take to open a bar? Like, walk us through the main process of, the highlights of building a bar from permit to open door.
So many highlights in that
process. mostly highlights.
It's just steadily buoyed every step of the way.
Lots of highlights.
So it's a very complicated process in that usually you don't have a lot of money, and if you have a lot of money, you're probably not jumping to open a bar. Sometimes you are, sometimes you aren't.
Which is to say, it's required that you have a masochistic impulse in order to do this.
Right. Yeah. That's a very good start. So the easiest way to do this is to have a little bit of money saved up, and that money that you need in the beginning is going to go towards the key money or locking in the lease of a space. So your first part of all of this is finding a space. Typically, you work with a broker. Usually, no matter what city you're in, you're going to have an easier time if that space was, when you bought it, a licensed premises. Here in California, it's going to be a type 41, 47, or 48. 41 is wine and beer, 47 is full restaurant with full bar, but you need to serve food, and 48 is just a bar. So Honeycutt down the street is a 48. Those are more rare, harder to get. Typically, if it's an existing 48, you have to pay a decent amount of key money for it. Key money is a funny term because you're not really buying shit. So it's just money that gets you essentially the entitlements of the space and gets you into that lease, but you probably have to renegotiate the lease anyway. Really, the sort of like market idea of key money is that you're paying for FF&E, which is furniture, fixtures, and equipment, none of which you want. You're just going to rip all of it out and scrap it anyway. So through this entire process, you're guided by your lawyer and an expediter. Here in the city, there's a few. Most of us use Fast Eddie, and Said Moses, who's our partner at Honeycutt, likes to joke that he used to be Fast Eddie. Now he's too busy and he's just Eddie. So there are a lot of ins and outs of getting your license, even if it was formally permitted, that you don't want to deal with. You need to rely on someone who does it every day. In New York, that's a liquor attorney. Ask a bunch of bars who they use. There's always 4 or 5 names that will come up if you ask enough people.
In the neighborhood.
In whatever neighborhood. And every neighborhood you try to open in is very, very different.
And that's true here as well.
Yeah.
It's not just
anywhere. You have different regulations, different allowances. Your CUP or CUB, which is your conditional use permit, that's going to vary, and that really dictates what you're allowed to do, how long you're allowed to be open. But the biggest thing is, where and when does that money come in? Because anything else can be solved with good counsel or asking enough people who have done it before what order you should go in. So the great thing, or the best case scenario, is finding a partnership that has the ability to have first money in, or being able to yourself lock up a space with whatever you can scrounge together and buy yourself some time to raise that money. Because it's very difficult to raise the money unless you have the space locked in. So it's a huge chicken before the egg before the chicken situation. That sucks. That's the hardest part. And then from there, you raise the money. Raising money is always easiest if you've done it before. Again, catch-22, right? But if you have a passion for this, if you have done your homework, and please do not fucking do any of these businesses or any business at all without doing copious amounts of homework and really having a very crystal clear vision. And you would be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't, how many people Alex and I talk to, they're like, all right, we want to open a bar. It's great. We would love to help you. So what do you got? It's as far as we got. It's like, come back to us in 6 months and do more work, because we can't hold your hand that much. If then you use your existing network to try to find those funds. Make sure you're tapping into reliable resources for those, and you're not going to bankrupt grandma. And and make sure you have enough capital in the bank to make mistakes when you open.
But even when you plan, things come up, right? I mean, like
You will always be over budget. You will always be delayed.
Yeah.
There has never been a project that we've done that hasn't been both.
Wow.
We had one that was a small percentage over budget and 6 weeks delayed, and that was a huge win. It was like, yes, we came as close as we've ever come.